The next set of question, new question, and to start us off with that will be Jack Kimball.
It is estimated that the state will start the next budget cycle $600 million in the hole. If you were governor, what expectation/mandates would you set forth to ensure the state's annual budget was balanced and completed as ordered by the New Hampshire Constitution?
Well, first of all, $600 million I think is conservative. I must say that. I said $800 million. I think that's closer to where we are. Doesn't matter. It's still a big number. What I would do, basically, is take a look at the $500 million in stimulus money and what programs that stimulus money funded. And I would look at those programs first. Second thing I would do is look at all the new fees and taxes and try to repeal as many of them as possible. But the biggest and most important thing is you have to incentivize small businesses. You have to provide tax relief to the men and women that work so hard in this state. 90% of the jobs that are created in the state of New Hampshire are created by small business folks like me. So I would push to repeal the business enterprise tax. I would also take the 8.5% business profits tax, turn it upside down such that the higher your profit, the lower your tax. Think about that. Workman's compensation, some of the highest rates in the country. I would sit down, insurance and state, and say, look, you know, I'm tired of subsidizing bad behavior. People who do a good job in their companies, have a good claims record, should get a lot of that money back at the end of the year. Again, set an environment, that's the government's job, by which small businesses can flourish, and you'll start to see the revenue go up. In addition, we have to take a hard look at welfare. That's one of my personal targets. We have become a welfare state. Ladies and gentlemen, Massachusetts people are coming to New Hampshire because we have such a wonderful deal. So we're going to go after the welfare program. We're going to give them a helping hand for a temporary period of time, but by God, if you can work, you're going to work. It's going to be temporary. We can attack education. We have 90 SAUs in the state, 90 school administrative units in the tiny state of New Hampshire. I think there's a lot of redundancy there. So those are just some of the things I would do to start balancing the budget. Increase revenue, decrease expenses. Thank you.
Well, first of all, we are in a critical state. We are on the brink of bankruptcy in New Hampshire. It is not just $600 million in the next biennium. It's much more than that. If you look at the $300+ million deficit that we currently fill, or supposedly took care of, it was all accounting gimmicks. Governor Lynch has led us down a path of financial disaster in this state if we don't turn it around. We are going to have to immediately cut spending. If we have a projected deficit of what Jack says, $800+ million, we have got to start looking at modernizing our state government immediately, having our department heads cut spending, bring in innovative ideas, and we got to start at the top. You know, the governor, you may think he's a nice man. This isn't about nice anymore. This is about being decisive, working with the legislature, making sure we preserve that great uniqueness of our state. I don't want to be like Massachusetts. You know, when I was working in Boston and seeing all the cars leaving our state, in the last 3 years, we've had more people leave our state than come to New Hampshire. That's not a New Hampshire way. Immediately cut spending, cut taxes on our business community, control the growth of government. And we can do it together with Democrats, Republicans, and working with independents throughout the state. Again, New Hampshire's done this before. We can solve the problem. We will not solve this problem with 2 more years of John Lynch. And we need to fix that now. And we will. Stay positive. We have the solutions, and we will do it. Thank you.
Same question to Karen Testerman.
Thank you. First of all, we need to go back and look at what the original intent of our government is supposed to be. We do not have a revenue problem in this state. If you go back and look at the financial records over several years, you will find that we continue to have revenue growth until this year. We do not have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem. Where is that money going? 38% of it goes to Health and Human Services, 28% of it goes to the Department of Education. We need to be looking at these growing agencies and finding out, are they doing what they're supposed to be doing? That's where our cutting starts. That's where we need to start saying, is this an efficient use of government? And we've got to start at the bottom up, all the way through. Just like businesses do, are you doing and performing your job in an efficient and an effective and accountable way? We need to hold government accountable in every level and all the way up to the top. One of the other places that I would do is I would lead by example. The governor's office now has 50 employees. I do not need 50 employees to run the state of New Hampshire. Those are just a couple of the things that I would start to do. The third thing that we have to do is we have to have total transparency in the state. Every expenditure that is made in the state must be online in an easy-to-read, searchable format for you. That is what this governor promised to do for us 6 years ago, and we still don't have it. I would make sure it was up there within the first 3 months of my administration. Thank you.
Frank, same question to you.
Sure. First thing, the governor has one supreme power, veto. That's basically it. Being I'm a state representative, I know whom I can talk to and whom to ignore because they're just centered on one straight target or issue. There's some good Democrats in the New Hampshire House and Senate, and a lot of them are not running because they're not happy with their own political party. With that said, there's plenty of places to cut. 3.5 years ago, a representative from, I think it was Hampstead area, Exeter, made a statement. He says, if you pass this budget, and the budget is passed in the New Hampshire House, the governor doesn't do it. The New Hampshire House passes it, it goes to the Senate, and then the governor signs it. He can probably send it back if he doesn't like it, but all the playing with it, if you want to say that, is in the New Hampshire House, as many of the representatives here will tell you. The governor's staff, that's a good place to cut. The bodyguard made $136,000 last year. $50,000 is added into his retirement fund as overtime. I would take somebody out of an academy and say, would you be my driver? I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, man, woman. Doesn't matter to me. You're a state employee, I need you, you're qualified. Some of the other problems. I work for the DOT in the state of New Hampshire. The toll money goes to tolls, then it goes in the general fund, and they spend it any way they want. Why do we have a highway department, and we go out and we pay private contractors to do the same work? Those are some of the things I would do. Also, as governor, I would say, you're a fine man or woman, I want you to be a commissioner, but you're taking a cut in pay, and I think we can do that.
Thank you, Frank. We're going to